Distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this event. An event, I suppose, within the doom and gloom of our sector, what our sector has seen over recent times of economic upheaval and unprecedented spending cuts. I'm pleased to say tonight's event is all about celebration. Yes, that's right, an evening of uplifting our spirits and an evening when we should be looking within ourselves and celebrate what we have. What we have is a great resource, of course. Our unsung workforce, those that have ensured through sheer determination and will our existence and the possibility of us all being here tonight. That is to say, all of you, and of course, our volunteers. You will see awards tonight to those that have led in that determination, but I'll say it before others do, I think we're all winners. The government may have made some losers in this sector, but as far as we're concerned, we can't see any. That's because our resolve will never diminish, and that's because we have learned to keep battling against the odds. I'm pleased to be standing here before you today. I missed last year's celebration event, which would have been my first as chair, which was held in Accrington. I was out of the country and I had difficulty with the dates. I couldn't change the dates as I was out of the country performing Umrah. And this year, I very nearly missed tonight's event again because I only had knee surgery last week and my stitches were only removed this morning strategically so I could be here tonight. So I'm really pleased to be with you all. When I was elected chair 2 years ago, I said at the time that I was under no illusions about the task that lay ahead for our organisation, for my board, and indeed myself. It also happened to coincide with the organisation entering its most productive and developmental period in its short history. We had been fortunate enough to have secured a substantial amount of money, when most of the time it had been hand to mouth, trying to exist, trying to do the best we could with the little we had, supporting our small network of members. Suddenly, we were appointing staff, constructing an organisation that required a step change, a major step change, I should say, a completely new way of doing things, essentially creating an organisation that would be fit for purpose. With no disrespect to past boards, and I've been part of many of them, this board needed to get its act together pretty sharpish. We were obviously overjoyed that we had all these resources to put the organisation on the map finally, to get into a position where we could benefit our member base. But with it came a great deal of responsibility also, and I think the board knew that. We needed an outfit that was more professional in the way it operated and more robust when it came to meeting the needs of the ever-growing member base. In fact, the rapid pace of the growth in that membership, organisations that wanted to join the Lancashire LBME Pact, was quite staggering. We have in excess of 80, I think, at the moment, from across Lancashire. At times, it worried me as to how our staff would cope with the demands that would inevitably put on them. I don't intend to speak long, but I did feel like mentioning a few things tonight. I'm not going to give you a progress report or a list of achievements of the organisation, which we normally do. We have an AGM coming up shortly, so there's plenty of opportunity for that. I'm not going to give you a national, regional or local perspective on key agendas that affect all of us as I had planned, least of the continual watering down of the equalities agenda or the loss of provision to and for the vulnerable in our communities. I'm not even going to delve into the immigration changes Ms. May is rushing through that may be dismaying some of us greatly, and I know that is dismaying some of us because I had conversations recently about just that. No, I want to leave the gloom at the door as we came in tonight and let you enjoy the evening. I do, however, as a responsible chair, want to touch on a concerning matter that I know all our members and those that work with or for the organisation will want to hear about. The matter concerning the future of the Lancashire BME Pact. I apologise to those that may be expecting clear answers for me in that regard tonight. Along with my board colleagues, we have, I think, been doing our best to find answers, very similar answers, I should say, to the ones that are being sought by many organisations, not just in Lancashire, but across the country. As many of you will know, the Roshni project and the resources the organisation has to deliver its current services through that particular initiative is sadly coming to an end. The challenge for us is quite straightforward. The answer to that challenge, I'm afraid, is a very complex one. How do we maintain the level of provision our members have been getting from us over the years? And how do we safeguard jobs and with it the staff that we have employed? Yes, I'm sure you will agree this is a very familiar scenario in the times that we're living in. As I and the board set about our business 2 years ago when I became chair, there were two clear priorities for me. One was ensuring the organisation operated professionally and with a sustainable base. And also, secondly, trying to do the best we could to benefit and support our organisations across Lancashire. Sustainability of the organisation was uppermost in the mind of the board. We have quite a few additions to the board I took over in 2010, additions that have brought valuable skills and expertise that will benefit the organisation and in turn you as members. I want to take this opportunity to thank our board members for the valuable contribution they make, devoting their time voluntarily to furthering our cause. I also, if I may, want to acknowledge the dedication and hard work of all our staff that has made the organisation what it is today. Can I have a hand for them, please? We have been having conversations with our partners, particularly LCC, as well as other funding bodies. Funding has dried up everywhere, as everyone knows. But I don't really want to place any emphasis tonight on funding. I do, however, want to say that the support that we've had from LCC is unlevelled over the previous few years, particularly even at this time when everything is so bleak. The prospect everywhere, as everyone knows, is very unhealthy. Everywhere we look, we seem to see the same story, where there's organisations wrapping up, people losing staff, and really a period of real despondency. We as an organisation have considered possible options to continue the way we have been. Options such as consortia, looking at other kinds of partnerships, the possibility of working with other service providers around delivery, etc. I set up a key strategic group at the beginning of this year of board colleagues to use their specialist knowledge and explore ideas and of focusing on sustainability of the BME Pact. That forum will continue to pursue options for the future of the Pact. We are of course continuing in our quest to seek resources that will maintain the progress we have made so far. I think in a sense, the progress that we have made because of the resources we've had over the years has put a lot of burden on this organisation, because we are now faced with the possibility of actually maintaining that particular progress and of course maintaining the support that we've given that particular network. But increasingly what is clear is that we will not be in a position to operate at the level that we have been over the past few years. We will, of course, have to prioritize, and we will have to prioritize, and we will have to find what we can and cannot do. Work smarter with less, of course. But that is not to say that we cannot operate in the way that will benefit and support our huge membership. It will mean that we obviously have to operate very, very differently, and it will also mean that we will need understanding and perhaps patience from our members during these times. But I can assure you of one thing: we will do all that we are capable of in supporting that network during these very difficult times. The key challenge for us all has never changed, however. That is one of survival. And as I've often said, as long as we can look out for each other, we won't go wrong. One thing that I do want to actually express, if I can, is that I've often been looking for robust lines of communication between the board and the membership. And I actually send out this plea again. We need dialogue between the board and the members, particularly at this very difficult time. And finally, I came across a very pertinent quote recently by a famous or infamous, depending on how you read into his background, a New Yorker, an author and psychiatrist. Let's face it, we need some of them at times like this. M. Scott Peck published Road Less Traveled in 1978. The title spent 13 years on the New York Times bestsellers list. The book's opening remarks are, "Life is difficult." And who would argue with that? His offer to us goes something like this, and I quote, The truth is that our finest moments are most likely to occur when we are feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy, or unfulfilled. For it is only in such moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we are likely to step out of our ruts and start searching for different ways or truer answers, unquote. 2 years of me being chair of this organization, I'm not sure what my colleagues would surmise, but my assessment is that it's work in progress. I hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you for listening.